Hi everyone, welcome to set 2 of our Biblical Hebrew vocabulary words. The list for vocabulary for this unit is on page 21 in your textbook. Our first word is ozen, which means ear. Next we have oznaim, which is the word ear or word for ear in the dual, so meaning two ears. And remember that "-im" ending at the end of the word is a clue that the word is dual, and also always gets the accent, so it's oznaim. And also note that in the first part of this word we have a closed, unaccented syllable with the T-shaped vowel, which is called a kamatz, and in this case the kamatz makes an O sound, so it's oznaim. Our next word is El, which means God, small g, God, big G, or the Canaanite god El. So it can be any of those things. Our next word is Elohim, which is the more common word for God used in the Hebrew Bible. Elohim can mean God, big G, or gods, small g. You'll notice that the word itself has an "im" ending, so it seems to be plural, and this element of the word has puzzled scholars for centuries. So you might ask yourself, how can we tell if we hit this word whether it means God in the singular or gods in the plural? And most often you'll know because the verb will indicate whether the subject is a singular subject or a plural subject. Also, you may have plural adjectives that follow this god. So if you see Elohim Acherim, that means other gods, and that's not talking about the God of Israel. That's talking about foreign gods. Next word is aim, which means mother. Emote, which means mothers in the plural. And you'll notice the ot ending and the fact that the O vowel is written on top of a vav, which is sometimes what I call the golf tee holding the O vowel. In more technical terms, this is called the cholim vowel or cholim vav because it's a cholim vowel with a vav combination. But emote could also be written in this way, without the vav and just the O vowel. And in fact, I'm not even sure that this spelling even appears in the Hebrew Bible. I think most often you will see it spelled like this. So either way is correct. So if one appears and the other, don't let that bother you. Our next word is eretz, which means land, earth, or country. Again, you'll notice that this is a segolet vowel, or segolet noun, because it has two segol vowels, which are the three dot-shaped vowels there. And when we have a segolet noun, we have accent on the first syllable, so it's eretz and not eretz. The plural is aratzot, and by that ot ending you can see that the word is most likely feminine. Next we have dam, which means blood. And even though it's not on your vocabulary list and you don't have to know it, the Biblical Hebrew has a plural for blood, which we don't really think of in English, and that is damim. Most often in Biblical Hebrew, this is used to refer to, I guess, violent or bloody deeds. more so than the plural of blood. Our next word is derech, which means road or way. Our next word is cherev, which means sword. And again, note that both derech and cherev have those sagol vowels, and thus the accents on the first sagol, or the beginning of the word. We also have the plural charavot, which means swords. So note that ot ending there. Next we have the word yad, which means hand or power. Next is lave, which means heart. And the plural of lave is libot. Again, note that ot ending, indicating that the word is a plural. There are actually two different forms for heart. So we have lave and libot. And we also have levav and levavot, which again mean heart and hearts, respectively. Next is mayim, which means water. And mayim always appears in this dual form with the ayim ending. It's not much of an ending because it's a very short word. There's no singular or plural for water. It's just dual waters. Not sure why. Next is mishpat, which means judgment or justice, right, custom. It can mean a sentence. For example, if you commit a crime, your mishpat is your sentence. Note that this word comes from the root shin, pei, tet, reading from right to left, with a meme prefix. So there's the prefix. Sometimes this meme prefix is known as a locative meme. And what that means is that meme is also often added to roots to make them sort of transition them from an abstract idea to a more concrete term. So we go from the abstract idea of justice to mishpat, making justice happen. From the same root, we have shofet, which means judge. Actually, this is a participial form, which we will learn a lot more about as we go through the course. So in Biblical Hebrew, a participle is a verbal noun, and you might think of maybe an equivalent word in English to be something like runner. So a person who runs is a runner. And in this case, a person who judges, or who is a judging one, or one judging, is a judge. I'd also like to point out this particular vowel pattern, this OA vowel pattern. So see the O over the shin and the A vowel under the pei. And when you see this OA vowel pattern, that is a clue. It's not absolutely positive, but it's a clue that you're looking at a participle. So this is a judger, or a judging one. But we would just say judge if we were preparing a translation. And finally, we have the verb he judged. And you'll notice here that we have an ah vowel pattern. So either a patach or a kametz at the beginning of a word, two of those in sequence, sometimes they can shift around, oftentimes means that we are looking at a verb, particularly a verb in the third masculine singular, so he did something. Our next word is nephesh, which means self, person. Sometimes it's translated as soul, particularly in older texts like the King James Bible. It can mean things like breath, will, life force, your respiration, sort of all of those things that indicate that someone is alive. Nefashot is the plural of nephesh, so these would be selves or persons, I guess. And note again the ot ending. From that you know that the word is feminine. Our next word is ayin, which means eye or spring. Next word is pe, which means mouth. So pe as in the letter pe, and maybe if you use your imagination you can see the letter pe as looking something like a mouth. I have no idea if there's any relationship between those two things, but it's kind of interesting. Next word is panim, which is always plural and means face or presence. And we have the verb pana, which means he faced or he turned or turned towards or turned away. Next we have regel, which means foot. And we have regel in the dual, raglayim, which means 2 feet, or foot in the dual. Finally, we have the word shamayim, which is again a form in the dual, although dual in meaning is a little bit hard to imagine, but that's just the way it is. And the word means heaven or sky. Thanks, hope you found the video helpful. Let me know if you have any tips or anything that would work better for you. See you soon, bye.